Hola, this is Diana from Latin American / Mexican Spanish, and in today's short lesson, we are going to continue with the topic of relative pronouns. As you know, this is a bit of an advanced video, so if you haven't watched the part 1 of the relative pronouns, I highly suggest you to first have a look at it, and then you can come back to this second part. Today, we are going to start with el que and el cual. Those two are interchangeable. It means exactly the same, and it depends on your style. Perhaps if you are writing an email and you don't want to sound very repetitive, you want to exchange them. So in your speech, it doesn't sound that you are saying el que again and again and again. This being said, I would like to clarify that el que and el cual have variations depending on the gender and the number of the noun that you are talking about. For example, you can say el que, la que, or los que. Obviously, the first one is for masculine, the second one is for feminine, the third one is plural. So you might have an idea of what happens with el cual. You have el cual, la cual, los cuales. Same story. Now, those are stronger relative pronouns. What does it mean when somebody says that those relative pronouns are stronger? In comparison with the only one that we have previously studied, que, those ones are definitely stronger in terms of the connection that you are making or establishing between two ideas. For example, we said multiple times that we use only que when the relation between your two sentences or in a normal restrictive sentence is very clear and simple and obvious. You are going to use el que or el cual when the relation is not as clear. You have been having this type of conversations with your friends when you start with a story and then that story contains a little story in between, and then you carry on with the main idea. That requires relative pronouns. Why? Because you want to bring back the noun of your main idea all the way to the end of the story. So if you want to keep making that connection, you all the time need relative pronouns. We will see that with an example. El coche de su madre con el cual tuvo un accidente quedó destrozado. What happens in here? This is a sentence that has two commas. It very clearly emphasizes pauses, and the information that is in between is additional. You can tell me if this is a restrictive or a non-restrictive sentence. If you have watched the previous video, you know that this is a non-restrictive sentence. And non-restrictive sentences love to use this type of relative pronouns. Lo cual or lo que are very interesting ones. Lo cual can be used to refer to something that has already been mentioned in the same sentence. Now, what is the difference with lo que? Lo que can be used in all the sentences and in all the instances where lo cual is mentioned. However, you can use this at the beginning of a sentence. That is the only difference. And when it goes at the beginning of a sentence, it doesn't matter if that thing that you are making reference to has been brought up before or not. I know. Okay, in general, the point is that lo que is kind of hiding information. In simple terms, in the sentence, what the president said makes no sense. Lo que el presidente dijo no hace sentido. That is a good example of how lo que can be at the beginning of a sentence, even if that hasn't been mentioned before, because we are technically hiding that information. It's not important. What the president said, it's not important in the sentence. It is understood that the people involved in the conversation already know what that was. So you don't need to emphasize it. That is the big difference. We don't have time for more examples today, but I highly suggest you to visit our website and click in the section of relative pronouns. There you can find plenty of exercises and examples about this topic, and you can even have a quick test where you can know what are the relative pronouns that you need to practice the most and which ones you already know and you don't have to worry about them. Don't forget that you can also book a one-to-one private session where I can help you with this or any other topic. Have a very nice day and thank you so much for being here. See you next time. Adios. Gracias.